SMT Nation, we are back. Nation, it was a rough day for customers on the Verizon network. There was a nationwide outage, and it was extensive with respect to how many cities that were impacted. The amount of people impacted is kind of not really able to be determined, I suppose, but the number of cities impacted was pretty high. Anyways, I want to give you guys an update and let you guys know what's going on right now, the information we have. So, I follow obviously Verizon News, and they kind of made the statement. So we're going to take a look at that. But initially, to kind of cover what happened today, over 100,000 reports coming in from Verizon customers to Verizon relative to the outage. Some major cities involved like Chicago, Phoenix, Denver, Indianapolis, Seattle, Omaha, Minneapolis, Cincinnati, and LA, along with some other ones, some pretty big ones, and some smaller ones, all pretty much mixed up, right? Atlanta, I believe, was the most reported for issues relative to like hurricanes that were going on, in the southeast. So we have all those things going on. So they're trying to probably get a lot of sites back up and running. Anyways, this couldn't have happened at a worse time, right? So people were reporting connection-related issues, having no signal, total blackouts, down detector indicating everybody's in SOS mode. I mean, it was a very, very large-scale impact, right? When you get 100,000 outage reports, that's pretty massive. The outages, I think, started getting reporting early in the morning, like 7:30 a.m., started to peak between 9:30 and 11:30. And I think at that point, it was pretty much verified of the outage. Extensive amounts of outages in Florida, Washington. I'm looking at all these cities, and it's pretty extensive. Now, the thing, and I mentioned this on one of my shorts videos, and you guys, not all of you watch the shorts, but you could be on the Verizon network, a Verizon customer, and your phone was working the whole time. You never skipped a beat. And the person next to you may have been out for basically, essentially the whole day. What was different about those two phones? I have no idea. People are speculating it could be a network core related issue, which means something broke, something failed, software related, and then they basically had to restore previous configurations, which probably took the better part of several hours. And of course, onboarding those devices back onto the network probably created an overload and created some problems. I mean, I'm just looking at the possibilities. I'm not saying I know everything, but I could imagine getting the system back operating to its normal functionality and then trying to re-administer credentials to get the devices back onto the network. It was probably all of those different factors, and it was definitely huge, to say the least. So, according to Verizon News, engineers have fully restored the network disruption that impacted some customers. Things appear to be back to normal. Things are, functioning like they normally would. And if anybody was still having connectivity issues, they're just recommending that you restart your device or flash airplane mode, and you should be back up and running. So, I'm sure they're actively trying to fix it, and it was a long outage. It was several hours. It's one of those things where, if this happens once in a while, you say it's no big deal. But when these things become consistent and you've got several of them, people start thinking about moving. I'm not sure. You guys can tell me if you're a Verizon customer, was this outage enough to get you to think about leaving? I don't know. That's a personal decision. This is the same talking points I bring up when AT&T was having their troubles, right? A network outage may happen from time to time. When it's several times in a year, does that make a customer want to leave? That sort of thing. But for the most part, I would say Verizon has been mostly reliable, right? AT&T up until this year was pretty reliable too. And T-Mobile, I'd say, has really stepped up their game and have gotten pretty reliable, right? They had that really bad outage a couple summers ago that was national and a very extensive one, but they've been pretty good since. So, I'm not gonna overreact. I don't think it does us any good to do that. But if this becomes an issue moving forward with frequency, then most definitely it does become an issue. But let me know what you guys think. If you're a Verizon customer, how do you feel about this? Tell me a little bit about your thought process. What comes to mind now after this type of experience? The way they handled it. Do you guys think they did a good job? Could they have maybe figured something out? I don't know how you take it. Everybody's perspectives on this can vary, but I'm excited to read what you guys have to say, and I'm just glad everybody's back up and running, and it's a good thing. Anyways, sound off in the comment section below. You're the voice of the people, the SMT Nation. Let your voice be heard.